How's everybody doing? All right, what do you want to talk about? Great weather. Got 80 degrees. Okay, we got done right as baseball was starting, so that was good. So the kids are going to shower up and grab a bite to eat and head over there. They'll be able to catch the second half of the game. So, but last padded practice before Saturday. We'll go in helmets on Thursday. Typical, in-season Thursday practice. We have our draft tomorrow. So head coach of one of the teams is Rajay Harris, and head coach of the other team is Jeremy Lewis. Then they're going to flip a coin to see who is the home team, see who's purple, and see who's gold. And the kids are excited about that. So Thursday we'll practice in our teams, and we'll put rosters out, maybe Friday or something, so the fans will know kind of who's versus who. So winner gets steak and shrimp, loser gets cold beanie weenies. So.
They don't get to serve the losers. It's just a winner's dinner, losers dinner.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll let the leadership council figure it out.
All right, good deal. How's everything? What would you summarize your your positives and what you want to see improved?
I just think that there's a lot of positives. I think offensively, there are a lot of new faces, and there are a lot of new faces making plays. And I think the quarterback room has steadily improved each week. Very pleased with the running back room. I think the offensive line and Coach Mulgridge, I think they're coming along and progressing. I think we have some guys in the receiver room that have had solid springs. I think Shane Calhoun has had a very solid spring. So I think there's so many positives right there. Negatives offensively. Just waiting for one of those big ex-receivers to step up and take command of the position. I think Saturday's another opportunity for a couple of those guys. I think that's the one that I'm waiting on right there. I think finding who the starting five are up front. I mean, I think we've played with a lot of different combinations. It was great to have Jacob Sacra back the last 2 weeks, and I think he's shown he's much improved from the fall. But just, waiting to see what that final five looks like right there up front. I think defensively, probably the biggest positive is, I think two things. I think length and speed. I think our defensive front has been solid all spring, but I expect those guys to be. I mean, those are veteran guys that played a lot of snaps. I think negatives, I think it's, who are the next couple of guys in the secondary after the first group? Who's going to be a guy that can be ready to play? Because we're going to you're going to play more than just 11 guys. So I think that's kind of everything there.
As a new head coach, a lot of people talk about your players versus the players that were here. You had the COVID time to have extra time with certain players. But how can you explain about your players coming in and how excited you are for this little next era? COVID and how it's changed. Yeah, I mean, I think we're through kind of through the COVID stuff. We got the last of the COVID seniors of the extra years, in the next year or so. And but I think it's just the program has since that 2020 season, the program has made major advancement and leaps. And I think that's a credit to a lot of the guys that were here when I got here that were young that really helped kind of, mold the program. I think it's a credit to the guys that have come in, and, the Jeremy Lewises, the Rajay Harrises, like those two I mentioned a while ago, Tay, just Eli, just all those guys, and just, their continued leadership and their, kind of enforcing a standard in the way we do things. And it's just, I'm excited for this fall. Again, a lot of new faces, tough schedule, but the kids are really excited about it. We are too. Reinforcing the standard that you've been raised since you got here.
Yeah, I mean, that's the great thing is you have guys that have been in the program that embrace our core values and kind of demand that we uphold those. And I think that's anytime you can get in a situation where the kids are they're echoing it and they're leading that way, I think that's always a positive situation.
Yeah, officially announced the new offensive hires and a couple of analysts as well. Can you just touch on what led you to bringing those guys on board?
Well, I thought we had a very strong candidate pool for the two positions on offense, and I thought everybody that we brought to campus to interview would have been a good fit and would have been a solid hire. I think that when you look at Dyrell, he fits a certain type of coach that I was looking for. He's going to be very, very high energy. He is a great technician with the fundamentals, and I think with some of the youth in our receiver room, the guys we have on the roster now, we have 3 incoming high school kids. Just his expertise with teaching the fundamentals really stood out to me. That and just has that kind of personality that can be dynamic in recruiting, and was passionate about wanting to be here. I just thought he was the right fit for what we needed in that room. As we went through the interview process, I hired Aaron Auer because he was the best candidate for that job, and it wasn't really close. He is a very bright mind, great work ethic. He has tremendous relationships with our players. He's been here with us for a couple of years, but he has a very bright future in this profession. And probably the biggest endorsement for him was from the players. When I made it to the point where I was confident and comfortable with him, I went to some of the older players that he had worked with, asked them, their perspectives, and not only the ones that are here, but some of the ones that had left. Just feel very strongly about him, and I think that says a lot about what he's done already. So excited about those guys. Excited about Tyler in our defensive room. He was at Georgia Tech last year in the same role, so brings a lot of experience. Has been a head high school coach, has been a position coach at the collegiate level. So I think he'll be a great help and resource to Blake. Kyle, we wanted to have someone that had been a specialist and had done it and was in the field and really a guy that can really do a great job of evaluating what the kickers and snappers and punters and holders are doing on the field and be able to communicate and work with Coach Doust and coaching those guys. So I think that all 4 will be assets to our staff.
Is Josh Murphy, is he back holding the spring? I know that was something he was doing last
year
before he got hurt.
He has held the spring. He's been out there returning punts this spring. He and Javius Bond have been probably the 2 most steady punt returners. He's done a lot. He has not been fully cleared just yet, so he hadn't had contact, but he's done everything else shy of contact. And, certainly, it crushed all of us when he went down during fall camp, but, he's kind of taken the adage of everything happens for a reason and has worked very hard to come back. And he's an older, more experienced guy now just from, helping out last year on the, student coach side while he was rehabbing his knee. So excited to get him back out there this summer.
What are your thoughts on Mason Garcia potentially leading the team this weekend?
Well, I mean,
spring game, and then this might be the last time that everybody sees him before we head up to Ann Arbor.
Well,
just thoughts on that and what you expect from here to then.
Well, I thought Mason was very strong on Saturday in our scrimmage. They had another good day today. I think he's getting more and more comfortable decision-making wise in the pocket. I thought he made several, very wise decisions with the ball in our team portion of the practice today. A couple times pulling the ball down and taking off. A couple of times standing in the pocket and delivering very accurate throws. But I think that every time out he improves just from experience. So he and Alex will lead the 2 teams on Saturday. And Alex, I'm telling you, Alex has had a very strong spring, and he has been highly competitive in that room. And just the improvement of him from the fall is very impressive also. So we feel very, very comfortable with those 2 guys where they are right now.
There's no getting prepared for 120,000. Okay?
No.
And how do you kind of keep that pressure off of them, but want them to succeed and rolling through the summer and have a successful season?
What pressure?
Exactly.
I mean, we have a great opportunity. There's no pressure on us in that game. So we're going to go up there and play our tails off and go right at them. So it's going to be a fun environment to play in. Another staff adjustment is Steve Shankweiler is now in an official capacity as Director of High School and Alumni Relations. And, Shank may be the most tenured coach, not one stint, but between his four in the history of East Carolina University. So, nobody better to be a guy that, number one, can be a liaison between the high school football coaches in the state of North Carolina and our staff. He will help coordinate our walk-on program. He will help coordinate camps and clinics. And then, heck, probably half our football alumni played for him or played when he was here. So a great guy to be a point of contact for our football alumni. It's something that, we've tried a couple times to, really get a lot of guys reconnected. We went through COVID and that kind of disconnected us again. So it's very important to me that, our former letter winners, football alumni, that they feel a connection to our program. And that's the reason we wanted Shank in that role. So great to have him in that official capacity. So, for the football alumni out there, if you need tickets or whatever, call Shank.